Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Xbox Casuals, the Xbox podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the $70 premium product, Josh Finney.
Jesus Christ! I don't know if that's like premium or if that's like, hey, you're cheap and affordable.
I mean, no, it was a play on the Modern Warfare 3 announcement.
That's fair.
Because people are all like, Modern Warfare 3 is a $70 premium product. I'm like, yeah, no shit. It's Call of Duty. What do you want?
I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to Call of Duty, but like that stems from a lot of reporting that we got this like last spring, roughly, that hinted that it was supposed to be a premium DLC instead, or something along those lines, and then somewhere Bobby Kotick decided, no, we're charging these motherfuckers $70. So
I mean, it's Call of Duty, man. I mean,
yeah, it's Call of Duty. I hope this is the last annual release for Call of Duty, but
we'll
see.
I would bet next year might be, just because there's probably a game already further in development. And,
there is that was the whole thing. Was there was supposed to be a game this year, and it got pushed to next year, and they were like, in between, they're going to develop a DLC.
Yeah,
for Modern Warfare 2. And, well, clearly that didn't happen. So, like, Treyarch's game is slated for fall 2024 right now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, anyways, Josh, how you doing? You doing all right?
Yeah, man, it's been a week. It's trying to get some ducks in a row, trying to line a few people up for our sister show, Tower Casuals, for next Tuesday. Of course, the big day.
The big one.
The big one. I'm actually really surprised that we're this close to the showcase and stuff hasn't just started like leaking at the seams yet.
Yeah, it will by the weekend, I bet.
I'm sure by Thursday or Friday I'll be at the grocery store like I traditionally am, grocery shopping, and instantly discords will be blowing up, cease and desists will be going around the internet. It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be a Destiny showcase without it, but
nope.
No, just trying to get some things lined up there, because that is happening early in the morning.
Yeah.
And then of course we go straight into reset with a brand new season. So no, just doing that, and I'm trying to get some things taken care of around here. We're finally going to be below 80 degrees for the first time since like the beginning of July tomorrow.
Wow.
Or excuse me, since like the end of July. Not beginning. Beginning is wrong. They ran some statistic on the news today that said like we have not officially in Dallas Fort Worth, we have not spent any time below 80 degrees since at least the end of July.
That's nuts, man.
It's not great, but a cold front moved through today, which got us down to 95.
Ooh.
I was very upset, though. The cold front passed through us and then immediately sparked rain south of us. We got no rain here.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And we need it. We need it pretty badly. So,
yeah. It's been raining.
Just a few more weeks.
A few more weeks. It's been raining. It's been raining a lot here, actually. It's not really hot, but it's muggy, man. It's
our
real
friend
muggy.
Our friend Ray Apollo was telling me the other day. He goes, yeah, man, it's great. He goes, the heat is over, where he lives for the summer. And I says, oh yeah. He goes, yeah. He goes, I woke up and he's like, I went to go take my daughter to daycare and it was like 66 degrees. I was like, oh fuck you, dude. Like, just get out of here. I hate you. I can't believe you. You know what I woke up to? I woke up to 85 degrees this morning. So like.
Gross.
You wake up to that, it's already hot. There's already a heat index. Like,
gross.
Yeah, I was telling you before the show, I've been needing to get down in my garage for the last couple of weeks. We cleaned out my mom's storage unit a few weeks ago. And that just turned into me dumping it all in my garage and making it almost impossible to walk through. I have a small garage. I live in an apartment, for God's sake. But I need to go down and organize it and drag a couple of those bins upstairs.
Yeah.
And I just like can't bring myself to do it because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It's just like, ugh. So tomorrow morning, it's supposed to be down into the low 70s in the morning. So I think I'll drag myself downstairs early before I start my day and bring stuff up.
Gross. Let me tell you, Josh, though, the high today was 76 and the high tomorrow is 77.
Please die. Please die. I have like another week and a half of 100-degree temperatures coming. And they're
Yeah.
basically like, once we get to the end of the 10-day outlook, they're like, that should be it for triple digits for the summer,
Yeah.
which really excites me because, man, this has been one of the. Every summer, I feel like I say this, but this truly has been like one of the hottest summers I can remember. I've done everything humanly possible to not go outside during the day if I don't have to.
Hmm.
I've started trying to go grocery shopping at like 6 in the morning. It's so bad.
Gross.
Oh, dude, there's creeps and weirdos out at 6 a.m. at Kroger.
Yeah. I mean, I bet. I mean, who? I mean, those are the only people that get up at
That's
6
the
a.m.
one. That's the thing that I miss the most about like the pre-COVID times is 24-hour grocery stores, because I loved going grocery shopping at like 11 o'clock at night
Yeah.
because there was nobody there. It was quiet. There were just people stocking shelves. I was getting fresh shit. It was nice. Now I have to like go fight the soccer moms when I go at like any time after 8 a.m.
Nice.
I have to fight a whole bunch of Kia Sedonas in the parking lot.
Oh no.
It's bad. It's real bad, Corey.
Josh, you know it's not bad.
What's not bad, Corey?
Guess where I'm going in February?
Are you going to the happiest place on earth?
Yeah, I am. Yes, I am, Josh. Yes, I am.
Where are you staying?
Pop Century.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, there are other choices, but like, look, it for a family, the Skyliner's nice. You don't have to share buses with anybody.
I do hate the buses.
I know, man.
I like the
Buses.
convenience of them, but I don't like sitting next to other people. I'm a bit of a larger fellow, so I don't like sitting on public transportation with people.
I
And I
understand.
certainly don't stand
Yeah.
because my ankle just hates me.
Yeah.
So,
I understand, Josh. I am also a large human being, and I do not like sitting next to people, especially let's say in Florida when it's like super hot
oh
and
my
muggy.
god,
And
yeah, like I don't want to sit next to anyone, even if they're like related to me. It's just like, no, just please leave a seat between us.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited though, Josh. I'm not gonna
I would be
lie.
excited. Did you hear that they do chicken and waffles now? Mickey chicken and
Yeah,
waffles
yeah.
looks fantastic.
I'm really excited. It's on a stick, so you don't have to like get messy.
I know. That's just
So
like, oh,
nice.
they thought of everything. I don't even care that they're charging me more just because it's Mickey shaped.
I know. Oh, it's so good. And you get 3 of them for like
You
$18.
get like four of them.
It's a steal.
The picture I saw, you get 4 of them and you get breakfast potatoes.
Yeah. And a little
Yeah.
dipper
Oh,
thing.
dude, I'm here. I'm here for it.
Hmm.
We were talking with some friends about possibly going over Halloween, and it's just not going to happen because I don't know if you guys know this, but vacations are expensive, especially when
Yeah.
you're going somewhere with the word Disney in it.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to go next fall with friends and their young daughter
When
for
you're
her first trip.
when your mascot is a rodent with red shorts, it's expensive.
That's true. The mascot for Six Flags is a pantsless bunny, and it's not very expensive at all.
Nope. Nope. Remember the commercial for Six Flags that used to have that guy that looked like the cleaner from Toy Story 2? Just dancing all around.
I unfortunately do. That song is stuck in my head. Fun fact: my very first job was at Six Flags.
What?
Yeah. So I obviously I have lived in Dallas Fort Worth most of my life. My very first job was at Six Flags over Texas, and
Ooh.
let me tell you, it is the worst job I've ever had. Too. I would sooner go teach in public school again before going back to Six Flags over Texas.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, it was bad. 16-year-old me developed a hatred for amusement parks at that point.
Mm.
Disney has a gigantic asterisk next to it.
Mm.
But no, so that was awful. It absolutely just like decimated any desire I had to go to Six Flags. I've not set foot in a Six Flags park since the day I quit.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was awful, man. That was just. I worked in the M&M store there, and really all we did was just steal a bunch of candy. But you start getting mad after enough people yell at you. You just like start kind of like becoming numb to it. And horrible management, just absolutely terrible people. The most incompetent morons who should not be in charge of anything are in charge of a bunch of 16-year-old kids who just like don't care.
Right.
That's it. It's fantastic. I got invited to multiple poker nights by 20-year-olds.
Ooh.
It was very weird. Yeah, they were like, "Hey man, we're gonna have a poker night and drink beer," and I was like, "Hey man, I'm like barely 16. How about no? I've got better beer at home." This is like
Oh,
this is like I don't know. This is like the Southwest of Dallas version of the OC. Y'all are making it sound like Jesus Christ.
oh no.
Oh man, it just like and instead of like liquor, you're drinking natty lights.
Oh no, gross.
Oh, dude, it's so bad. It's so oh
Oh,
god. Just I urge everybody to never go to a Six Flags amusement park ever again. Those rides are not safe.
yeah.
I promise you. I worked there. Those rides are not safe.
Well,
It's a
ours
whole bunch.
closed.
It's a whole bunch of underpaid 16-year-olds sweating their balls off outside who do not care.
Yeah, that's true. That's
They
true.
give
Ours.
you they didn't even give us training, man.
That seems unsafe.
Well, I didn't work the rides. It was very much a you'll figure it out as you go with the cash register, and they got mad when I would call and ask questions.
Mm, mm.
So yeah,
Still seems unsafe. Let me tell
that's
you.
when I found out that when people talk about a POS system, it's supposed to be point of sale, but POS really means piece of shit.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, multiple people were like, "Yeah, we got like 20 minutes of training on those rides for the safety
Yeah.
operations, and that was it." Like,
Mm.
oh god, that was enough to make me never get on a ride ever again.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the last time I was at a theme or an amusement park other than Disney was Cedar Point about 20 years ago.
Uh huh.
And I stopped going because, well, it's Cedar Point and it was like kind of trash,
Yeah.
even though everybody loves it. But also, I was too tall to ride all the rides, Josh.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So,
I mean I've literally only done like Disney and Universal since then. I think I went to SeaWorld once. SeaWorld is I've been there and it's like a distant memory in my mind
yeah.
because I see people talking about how much fun they had at SeaWorld and I'm like, SeaWorld has roller coasters? I don't remember that. I remember Shamu
Yeah.
and I remember the documentary that came out about how SeaWorld mistreats Shamu. That's about all I remember from SeaWorld.
The last time there
I
used
also
to,
don't do water parks. Water
yeah,
parks are disgusting.
yeah, there used to be a SeaWorld here too, like literally about 20 minutes from where I live, and it closed too. So I don't, too many things are closing around here, Josh. It seems very unsafe.
Yeah, that's probably not good. At least you're not having like essential services closing.
Yeah, that's fair. Hmm.
Corey, what have you abrupt shift, but
Abrupt shift. We've
abrupt
been
shift.
rambling for 13 minutes.
This is getting dystopian now.
Yeah.
I'm reminiscing about how awful my first job was, and that's just never a good recipe. I have a liquor cabinet next to me. It's not a good recipe for me tonight.
Mm, mm.
Um, what have you been playing lately?
Let's see. I've been playing a lot of Jedi Survivor. Uh,
Okay,
that's really been the main thing I've been playing.
such a good game.
I don't know how far I am, but it's really fun. I got to tell you,
I mean, just go ahead and say I've
I'm on
finished it.
this.
It's been out for 6 months. I don't really
Yeah,
care.
yeah. I'm on the second round of going to the moon.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
You're you're decently into it.
yeah,
You're past the halfway point, I would say.
yeah. I figured the way the story was going and where I'm at, I figured I'm kind of maybe 2/3 of the way through.
Ish.
Yeah. So it's fun, man. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, talk about a sequel that improves on the original in every single way.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I just want Cal and Marin just
Oh man,
do
listen,
something.
listen. They're fucking, man.
Yeah.
Okay, they are. Like, let's just. We're not even gonna sugarcoat it. Okay, Cal's not technically a Jedi. It's okay. Yoda's not around to pass judgment on Cameron Monaghan. Okay.
That's true. He's in his hovel at this point, so
Oh my god.
eating those turd sticks from.
Oh man.
Irons.
Poor Grease is having to like listen to them in the back of the ship.
Oh, I know. On the lightsaber workbench.
You devious dog.
Oh man.
Jesus
DLC, everybody.
Christ.
DLC. Josh, I've also been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Shocker. Shocker.
Big shocker.
Yeah.
I I kept meaning to get back to it. There's just I have too many ongoing games in my life as
No,
it
that's fair.
is.
That's fair. This is my I'm watching TV and I need something to play for a half hour before I fall asleep.
That's fair. That's
Hmm.
fair.
Yeah. Uh but I am on the last vanilla Disney Dreamlight Valley quest.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's like Animal Crossing with quests.
I kind of gave up around the time that you meet Olaf.
Yeah. I
That's
actually
about
just
where
did
I
that
quit.
quest. Yeah, I actually did that quest like a couple weeks ago because I stopped playing for a couple months.
Hmm.
And I was putting Olaf together was the quest I was on. And then I found his arms and then he was like, "Yay, I'm together."
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
like,
I haven't done any of that. Like I unlocked the area where he is, and then I just
mhm,
stopped.
yeah. So my main thing though is I'm trying to upgrade my pickaxe so I can access shortcuts to different areas. So,
Hmm.
you know. Uh I mean also tapping into Destiny 2 and I play a little bit of Halo Infinite too. So guess what? Halo still fun.
Yeah, I've Halo's probably the thing I've been playing the most since our last episode. Finished the second Tenrai event, which was really cool. I really liked that in the launch season of Halo Infinite with the
Mhm.
samurai armor. It was cool to get some more customization for that. There's a Cyber Showdown event happening now. That was the other event I really loved. Uh, I looked back at the events that I missed, and I was like, "Oh, thank God I didn't miss anything I cared about." I made it back in time for both of these again. So that's been a lot of fun. Been playing a lot of SWAT and Big Team.
Yeah.
Been having a lot of fun with that. Love that there's a lot more maps in the rotation now. Been checking out some of the custom maps in Forge, and there's some wild stuff. People have remade Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 64 in there.
Yeah.
They've made Rainbow Road. There's like a Minecraft looking level that people have made. Javelin 4 from Destiny 2 has been completely remade
Oh wow,
in
really?
Forge. Yeah. There's a lot of like really, really good stuff. I watched a lot of Halo Championship Series a couple
Yeah, I saw
weekends
you tweet
ago.
about that.
Yeah, watched a lot. I've been sucked in to an esport. It's really fun. I see some of the plays these guys pull off, and I'm like, oh damn, like because I sit there and go, man, I think I'm like pretty decent at Halo, and then I watch them play, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
wow. So I've been playing a lot of Halo. Of course, I've been wrapping up some stuff in Destiny too. Um, you know, new season, new showcase, 1 week from today. So a little nervous about that. And then Fortnite, of course. There's a Jujutsu Kaisen event. I have to play the Jujutsu Kaisen event.
Yeah, I know my nephew was telling me about that when he was over. I'm like, I don't know what any of these words mean, man.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love how stupid that game is now. It's great. Enjoying that. And yesterday, I finally embarked upon another 100-hour game,
Oh boy.
Divinity: Original Sin 2.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Baldur's Gate. I'm like, dude,
I have nothing that can play Baldur's Gate. I don't have a PC. I am going to be getting a Steam Deck here, hopefully in the next couple of months.
Mhm.
Our buddy Ray is going to help me put a better hard drive into one if I can just buy the 64 gig one.
Yeah,
We're going to mod it up, but I mainly want it for mainly want it for like emulation and Baldur's Gate,
yeah.
Hades 2. Those are like the three things I want to do on it.
Hmm.
So yeah, really looking forward to that. I sitting here, it's like the Kermit meme. He's like staring out the rainy window. That's how I feel when I see everybody on my timeline talking about Baldur's Gate right now.
Yeah, I see really nothing but Baldur's Gate.
I mean, it's one of the best reviewed games of all time right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, Larian's one of the best studios on the planet for RPGs. I love that a CRPG is getting this much attention. Um, I will definitely be picking it up for PS5 though, although it's going to go on my back burner until at least the beginning of October because Corey, the
Yeah.
next time that we meet, it's Starfield time. We will be 4 days away from early access for Starfield the next time that we meet.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
I
crazy?
I'm thrilled that Starfield is so close. I'm ready. And then of course after that, Phantom Liberty is going to be coming out. for
Yeah.
Cyberpunk. So I'll be jumping into that before shifting all of my attention to Baldur's Gate for October.
Hmm.
Baldur's Gate and Spider-Man are going to consume October for me.
Man, October, man. I mean,
There's so much.
For me, October is like Mario Wonder and Sonic
Assassin's Creed.
Superstars.
Well,
Oh
Assassin's
yeah,
Creed.
Assassin's Creed also.
I
Yeah,
honestly forgot Sonic Superstars was coming out. I'm not
I
going to
know.
lie.
I know. It's coming out the same day as Forza. I want
Yeah,
to say.
I kind of forgot it was coming out. Alan Wake 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Very excited about Alan Wake.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Alan Wake is going to have to wait until and I mean November is no less packed.
Yeah.
No, November's got Super Mario RPG, which I bought one of those digital voucher things
Mm-hmm.
for the Switch. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
got Tears of the Kingdom. So I'll be using the other one in Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
But you got that and Persona 5 Tactica both come out the same day,
Yeah.
which is
That's
the
wild.
world's biggest conundrum for me.
I don't know,
Another,
man. I feel like I don't I'm questioning the tactics, the Persona Tactica.
I'm not. I'm not. Bring it. I'm ready. I'm fully bought in, Corey. I'm fully bought in. Persona 5 is one of the greatest games ever made. I'm fully in on this. Give me more with these characters. Milk it dry. I don't care. I feel like the cow has definitely been milked dry at this point, but I'm still going to keep playing them.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
You're
really excited for those.
you're that guy.
I'm that guy. But, Corey, we have another November release that we got to lead off with tonight.
Yeah, we do. We do, Josh.
You like that segue?
I did. It was very good. So everybody, like we teased earlier in the show, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has been announced as a full price premium game and is out November 10th, coming to Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and shocker, last gen consoles.
I genuinely think this has got to be the last major game to release on last gen consoles.
I don't know, man. They're trying to port Jedi Survivor there. They're trying to do all
I
these
understand
things.
they're trying to, but I mean that game is janky enough on current gen. I can't imagine trying to get it to run on last gen.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. They had to come out and clarify that it's going to be a full priced premium release
I know.
because there was a rumor that went around over the weekend saying that somebody had seen like on an Xbox page or a PlayStation page or something, it might have even been Steam, that there's an upgrade price if you own Modern Warfare 2, and it was like $35 or $40, which I was happy about because I enjoyed Modern Warfare 2 for what it was. It's the first Call of Duty I've bought since Ghosts. I actually quite enjoyed it. But hearing that this is going to be $70, pass.
Yeah, I
My,
mean,
my problem with this is we've had this speculation for like 16 months because last spring, maybe even early summer, Jason Schreier reported for Bloomberg that Activision was going to bump the Treyarch game that was supposed to come out this fall to 2024 and instead release a DLC, a story DLC with a big multiplayer expansion for Modern Warfare 2 this fall. And somewhere along the line, that became a full game.
yeah.
Which it really feels like Bobby Kotick basically looked at this and went, well, if the Microsoft deal doesn't go through for some reason, if it doesn't go through, we are going to make money hand over fist if we make this a full-on expansion
Yeah.
or a full-on game. And if it does go through, then, well, you know, Sony's paying the marketing either way.
Yeah. So what does multiplayer look like for this? Like, I mean, is
It's
it
the
going to
exact
be?
same. It's the exact same thing as Modern Warfare 2. Because they have already said all of your purchases from Modern Warfare 2, all your operator skins and whatnot will transfer over.
Yeah.
This makes like little to no sense to me. This is a blatant cash grab, and I really hope that players see it as that. But this game is still going to sell like 20 million copies without even blinking.
Yeah.
I get the feeling they made the decision to make this a full-on release after they saw the launch numbers for Modern Warfare 2 last year, where it was like the most successful Call of Duty of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering, man, if it's the same multiplayer, man, you really want to pay $70 for that campaign? Like,
Well, and that's
I'm sure it's going to be a good campaign, but like,
so it's not this. I don't think if you own Modern Warfare 2, you're not going to be able to play with people who own 3. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be the same style of multiplayer.
Oh, I thought you meant
But
like the
they
same,
have
like
7 of their 8 studios are working on this game
yeah. Well, that
to
doesn't
get it
surprise
out the
me.
door because Sledgehammer was only supposed to be doing a DLC story and they blew it up into a full game.
Hmm.
Like they've been teasing the return of Makarov, who, if you played the original trilogy, you know that he was the main villain behind 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been like no build up to him. So it's like,
Yeah.
really? We're doing this? We're really doing this. I don't know how I feel about it. Modern Warfare, the original trilogy, is very near and dear to my heart. I did not play the reboot a couple years ago. I came straight in with 2. It just didn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it's just like I'm not 18 anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't excite me anymore. And like, I don't want to be one of those guys like, oh, I was a teenager in the golden age of Call of Duty. But I mean, like, I'd kind of been playing Call of Duty since the beginning when I finally gave up on it with Ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Call of Duty 2 was one of the first games I bought for my 360, and then just kind of went from there. I very vividly remember Modern Warfare coming out around the same time as Halo 3, and no one really, it gets sold really well, but like in my circle, no one really paid it attention until we started getting bored with Halo 3 the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, yo, have you played this Call of Duty game? 2 is where it really took off at in my circles.
Yeah.
I was like, God, I was like 17, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 17 when it came out. It was one of the very first M-rated games I could go and buy by myself without my parents having to be there.
Yeah.
Um, and it just kind of like went from there. I mean, like so many of us skipped school.
Yeah.
We all skipped school to play Modern Warfare 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, went to midnight launches for 3 and for like Battlefield and things like that. And I even had to be talked into Ghosts. I was already like kind of disillusioned by Ghosts, but Ghosts and Advanced Warfare were both just so bad that I was done.
At least you didn't play Ghosts on the Wii U.
No, but a buddy of mine did buy me Ghosts at the launch of the Xbox One,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I traded it in like a week and a half later,
Yeah.
and I got Black Flag, another game which I infamously do not like.
Oh man, Black Flag's so good.
I fucking hate Black Flag. It's so bad.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a weird one. There's been a lot of speculation around Modern Warfare 3 if the deal that Microsoft has worked out with Sony, if that's going to like supersede the original deal that was in
Mm-hmm.
place. There's been a lot of speculation that Microsoft is going to want to try and get this on the Game Pass as soon as possible, or like maybe they won't be able to get it on there until like next year. It does feel like some of the marketing has really been held off until like this late in the game. I mean, they're supposed to do the reveal on the 17th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 2 months and change before this game is supposed to be out.
Yeah.
So it really feels like we're kind of coming down to the wire because they don't know what the situation is going to be.
Yeah.
In terms of the acquisition and things like that. It really felt like that was kind of, they wanted this done beforehand.
Yeah.
But like, it's been playable like for like a month already.
Yeah.
Like we got leaks out of the NBA Summer League on this. The Summer League is leaking Call of Duty for us now.
Thanks, Summer League.
Thanks, NBA Summer League. One of the only notable things that the House Mavericks did for me was leak Call of Duty images.
Rip.
Oh, it was
Cavs
great.
went undefeated though.
Derek Lively II, I love you, man. Way to be a great Call of Duty player. I'm so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
This is just, I guess this is like kind of a nothing burger for me. I'm not gonna play this.
Yeah.
Like, not right away, at least. It's just knowing that it's going to eventually be on Game Pass, and, like, this is going to kind of be the test. Like, how long am I going to have to wait for it? Like, knowing that it's coming eventually, I really only want to play the campaign at this point.
Yeah.
I have so many other games to play this year, and multiplayer games in particular, that I just don't really care.
Yeah. No, I don't care either. I mean, I would play the campaign. I had the first one, but I bought it on sale. It was like ridiculously cheap at one point. I think it went on sale the week that like Warzone 2 came out and they shut down Warzone 1.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so like that whole whatever, like it was like $19. And I was like, okay, I could play a Call of Duty campaign for $19.
I'll play it at some point. It's just like, I have a really hard time buying anything that says Activision or Blizzard on it right now, knowing that if I'm just patient, it's going to come to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that person. Like, I don't like being somebody who's like, oh, I'm going to wait for wait for Game Pass. It's an Activision game. I don't fucking care. Like, yeah. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
They don't need my $60. Trust me.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, $70. This is a premium experience.
Premium experience.
Premium experience. Yeah, nothing says premium experience like an annualized franchise.
Yep. Premium.
Oh my god!
You saw a good Madden got.
You saw a good NBA 2K guy.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talk about Madden in years.
I mean, you should listen to Pow Block and listen to me rant about it every August.
I'm good.
uh,
I yeah, I don't really have anything left to say. It's just like, okay, cool. Like it's coming out, it's confirmed. Happy for those who like. I know there are people out there who like they buy this, they buy 2K, and they buy Madden, and they're happy for the whole year.
mm-hmm.
And you know what? And they probably play some free to play games like Fortnite at this point. If
Yeah.
that's you, more power to you. So happy you've got time to spend. You can spend money on that or on like FIFA Ultimate Team or whatever.
Right. I mean, this is some people's destiny, right? Like
Yeah,
they just play it
and that's
constantly.
why I'm like not knocking it too much. Like just because it got stale for me 10 years ago doesn't mean that it's stale for everyone else. It's still top watched esport. It's still the most successful FPS ever.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, you and I both spend more than $70 on Destiny every year.
I mean, we were talking about this on Tower Casuals last week. Like, I buy the $100 version every year because I want the dungeon key, I want the season pass, like I want to ultimately save like $40 in the long run.
Yeah.
So I buy the $100 version, and yeah, that's why I don't knock people. Like, okay, I do that. I make some silver purchases every year. I half the time end up buying a collector's edition. I have no problem with anyone who wants to spend their money on Call of Duty. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Just you know, I'm in the I'm in the Game Pass wait and see stage. Like, is the deal going to be revised to where this hits in early 2024, or are we going to have to wait until early 25, like it's long been suspected
Mm-hmm.
for these games? And like how far back does the deal go? Like, how many years does it cover? Black Ops Cold War was just given away on PS Plus. Can that come to the service right away? Can we like go all the way up to Vanguard? Maybe like it would make sense that maybe Modern Warfare 2 is held off of it, but like how many years back are they not going to be able to hit if the deal is not superseded by the new one?
Yeah.
So, and of course, we don't know the deal with that. We'll never know the logistics of that. We'll have a better idea once this game actually starts getting marketed and then gets released. So,
Yeah. All right, Josh, we're going to move on unless you have anything else to say.
No, please,
Great.
let's move on. We got another big story.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so if you're unaware, Embracer Group, the owner of literally almost every, I would say, B tier franchise under the sun at this point,
Yeah.
along with stuff like Lord of the Rings and Tomb Raider and Borderlands. Well, they were supposed to be in a $2 billion deal last year, and somebody pulled out. Well, Stephen Totillo over at Axios reports that the mystery group that walked away from the Embracer Group's $2 billion deal was the Savvy Games Group, a Saudi government-funded organization. Yeah, that. What do you think, Josh? I want to get your thoughts first.
Oh God! So first off, thank God this collapsed. Thank
Yeah.
God. Saudi Arabia has been investing in a lot of things lately. I don't know if anybody here follows like international soccer, for example, but like they've started their own football league over there, and they're signing players like Cristiano Ronaldo, to like just exorbitant sums of money. Right? There's words that Kylian Mbappe is going to be offered like $800 million for one season of play.
Yeah.
Over there, and it's just they're just throwing money because they want to be legitimized. There was the whole thing with the PGA and the I forget what the other organization was, but like it was a Saudi backed golf tour and drew lines in the sand with a lot of golfers. Like Tiger Woods was like, yeah, I don't want any part of this, whereas Phil Mickelson ran for it.
Yeah.
And now they've actually merged with the PGA, which is alarming.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's still ongoing. I think the government's like investigating that or
Oh,
whatever.
they gotta be, but they've been trying to worm their way into the games industry for a while now. And they've been very subtly doing it. I think they made a small investment into like Nintendo a couple years ago, like
They
2 or
own
3%.
8%, I think, of Nintendo.
8%. Okay, so it's like double what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to invest in Epic going forward.
Yeah.
And I think they've got some deals with Tencent.
Uh,
So
they also They have invested in parts of Capcom, I want to say.
Yeah, they're getting into
They're
the fighting
everywhere.
game scene. They're
Yeah.
getting into the fighting game scene a lot. This is huge.
Yeah.
So it was speculated that Embracer's partner was Microsoft,
Yeah.
and that seemed pretty likely. I was like $2 billion. I don't know why Microsoft would spend that,
Yeah.
right? And now it's coming out that it was from Saudi Arabia. I don't ever like to see studios close, because studios are going to close as a result of this collapsing. People are losing jobs. On the other hand, I don't want the government meddling in uh, in uh, in the gaming space. Like, I wouldn't want them I wouldn't want, like, and I know, like, the U.S. government meddles a lot too, right? I don't want governments meddling in the creation of art.
Yeah.
That leads to repression of free speech and leads to restrictions on what you can and cannot express yourself with.
Hmm.
And I think that, this is a sigh of relief when I look at some of the companies that are under the Embracer umbrella. Like, I look at Crystal Dynamics, I look at a studio like Eidos, who, has had some great social commentary and things like Deus Ex. I look at Gearbox, and they're just like, they've got to be breathing a huge sigh of relief right now.
Yeah.
This is just absurd. $2 billion would have involved Savvy investing in the development and publishing of games for Embracer, helping establish the Saudi company as a major gaming level. Um, it was announced in November 2022 with a mystery investor, and then in May 24th, 2023, they announced the collapse of one of the massive partnerships. And they didn't name who it was, and I feel like they didn't name who it was because they didn't want the backlash that's going to come with that.
Hmm.
With it coming out like this, like, it's, unless you like follow the industry really closely, it's probably going to like skirt. It's not going to show up on like CNBC or something like it would have if they would have outright named the partner a couple months ago.
Right.
But that's just, yeah, it's wild. It was supposed to be $2 billion in contracted development revenue over 6 years.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But they have worked together before. It is worth noting they have worked together.
Yeah.
They have invested in Embracer before, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
I think somewhere down at the bottom it says something like 300 million at some point.
um, Yeah, I know. So over the last 2 years, the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia has become one of the largest shareholders in major gaming companies, including Nintendo, Take Two, and EA. And they have announced the $1.5 billion purchase of two esports firms.
Yeah.
So,
Man. Man. I don't know, man. This is kind of.
yeah, they have ESL Gaming. ESL is known for Counter Strike, Global Offensive, and the ESL Pro League, along with Dota 2 tournaments, and then Face It also, which is they operate CS:GO tournaments and Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah. This is
Wonderful.
this is interesting, man. I mean, I don't really care for the, like you said earlier, government getting involved in games and stuff,
Yeah.
but like the Saudi government also is like a different animal, right? I mean, I don't know, man. I understand the cultures are different and stuff, but like, man, that whole area is just kind of like, I mean, they behead people in the streets for like being gay or trans or uncovered women or that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And
Women
it's like,
driving.
yeah. So
I want to read this paragraph right here that Stephen has in his article. While savvy executives have told Axios and others their operation, which has a board chaired by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is a genuine effort to get into gaming and address the professional and leisure interests of the kingdom's youthful population, it has nonetheless been accused of being a distraction from the community's human rights record, similar to criticism of so-called sports washing that's emerged from Saudi-backed efforts in boxing and golf. We would be remiss if we did not address that.
mhm.
Um, that it's not just government meddling; it's what the government stands for, um, and, like, very specifically their atrocious human rights records.
Yeah.
This is very much trying to, change their image in the world. So, very not dissimilar to how China has done in the past.
Mhm.
We talk about Tencent and NetEase, like, they're these big boogeymen, and this is kind of the other one that's lurking. So, like, when you hear about, like, when I see people freak out that, like Microsoft is buying studios, or like, oh, Sony's looking to buy somebody, or Take Two bought Zynga and this and that. It's like I sit here and look at it and go, well, would I rather some of the most creative companies in the world come underneath umbrellas of like stewards that I trust, or do I want them being run by state-run media?
Yeah.
And I think that's the real showdown that's coming. For so long Phil Spencer has said, like, yeah, our competitors at Xbox are it's Google, it's Apple, it's things of that nature. It's not really Sony anymore. This very much feels like, Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo even has been invested by 8%, right?
Hmm.
It very much feels like, Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony are kind of like being not necessarily backed into a corner, but they're having to go on the offensive now
Yeah.
and be like, no, we're not going to sit here and watch, companies that we have longstanding partnerships with go away,
Yeah.
because, or, lose their creative voice.
Yeah.
You risk, imagine someone like, um, I don't know. Imagine like a Larian or somebody like that coming under the control of a government like
Yeah.
China or Saudi Arabia, and you can see how like it's going to get dicey really quickly. This is not the last foray they're going to have into this. They are trying to legitimize themselves. I actually would be watching Ubisoft very closely.
Yeah. That's the scary one, right? I mean, to me, that's kind of why, like, if like going back to the Activision deal, right? Like,
Hmm.
the scary part was thinking like someone like the Saudi government or Tencent would buy them if Microsoft didn't, right? That was like the big kind of thing at the beginning.
Yeah,
Um, because Sony doesn't really have the cash on hand to go buy them, right? So, uh, I don't know. That's a scary thing to think about too. Like, if this deal didn't go through, who was going to
yeah.
buy them?
Yeah, if this deal didn't go through, I mean, and to be fair, I think Activision, like, I think Bobby Kotick could have fended off any sort of challenge for years,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like Microsoft was one of the only ones that could outright buy them, and I think it 100% would have been blocked if the Saudi government would have tried to step in with its public interest fund.
yeah,
I think that probably would have been stopped. Um, but this does kind of open the door now with this Activision deal going through. It's like, well, can any acquisition in gaming be prevented now? Like, on what grounds can you actually oppose it?
yeah,
So that is the downside to it. Like, I know Xbox fans are super excited and super pumped for Activision Blizzard King to be joining the family, and like you honestly you should be excited for the creative possibilities that can come from that. But there's always a downside to it.
hmm
And it's like, well, what if they decide to make a move on EA? Like EA's, I wouldn't say like super vulnerable, but they're definitely there.
Well, the one wasn't the rumor that EA wanted to, like, someone was trying to buy
Yep.
EA as well. Like, I think the rumor was Amazon for a minute.
Amazon was interested. Disney was interested at one point.
Hmm.
I mean, God, there's a whole bunch of stuff going around with Disney right now.
I know.
But Disney and Apple, but you have to look and see, well, are they going to get, what if the Saudi government gets interested in Capcom because they're getting into the fighting game scene. What if they're interested in esports, they're sponsoring Dota tournaments and whatnot. I don't think anybody can make a move on Valve, but a government probably could.
Yeah. Well, they're not
There's
publicly traded either, right? So, I mean, they can't
right.
really be sold unless they
Yeah,
want to be.
I would say, like, if it's a publicly traded company, like Activision Blizzard, like, well, you might want to look out. Like, Ubisoft partnered with some hedge fund or something,
Hmm.
sometime in like the last 18 months or so, to keep control in the hands of Yves Guillemot and his family. But it's not impossible to see that like somebody come in and do a hostile takeover.
Hmm.
Um, kind of surprised that the Saudi government didn't just decide to do it with Embracer. Honestly,
Hmm.
like, imagine the Saudi government owning the rights to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's a truly terrifying thing to think about.
Yeah, that'd be not
Yeah,
ideal.
not ideal, not ideal at all. So like, not like fear mongering, but it is something to watch. This is going to be, we've said for years, like Tencent is one to watch, and like they still are, to be fair, like, but they're more interested in poaching like individual talent and setting them up with studios. Like the creator of the Yakuza franchise has gone over there, for example.
Hmm.
Um, it's worth noting that yes, we need to. We're watching companies like Amazon and Apple trying to come into this industry, and Netflix, right? We're
Mhm.
watching them trying to come in. You have to also watch another front now of governments that really are restricting free speech and the idea of like progressive speech, especially. And in terms of like what they're investing in, like those are the two big ones. If Russia had more money, I guarantee you Russia would be doing it.
Yeah.
And there are companies that give grants to help develop video games, but that's not what's happening here. Here, it's more like a hey, we're going to restrict what you can and can't make.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
so
Yep.
something to watch in the coming years. This is the next big story in gaming.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh, you know what? It's a big story for Xbox though.
What's the big story for Xbox, Corey?
Avowed originally pitched co-op for the game and then pivoted to single player. How do you feel about that, Josh?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Smart move.
Uh, yeah. So this information comes from the Obsidian 20-year documentary.
Yeah.
Uh, Great watch, by the way. I really like that Double Fine and now Obsidian have done these long form documentaries.
Mhm.
I think the not Obsidian, the Double Fine documentary on the making of Psychonauts 2 is like quintessential for understanding game development, I think,
Mhm.
and the struggles that come with it. But the Obsidian documentary was fascinating because they talk about it in there and they say, yeah, Avowed was basically one of the games that it was like one of the centerpieces of the pitch to Microsoft.
Mhm.
And we kind of knew that. Daniel Ahmad talked about this a couple years ago from Nico Partners. He talked about it um, in a Reddit thread years and years ago, and basically said, "Yeah, that was like one of the major projects. We know Josh Sawyer's talked about Pentiment, and Grounded was pitched. Like Grounded and Pentiment were going to struggle to find funding.
Mhm.
They probably don't get made without the acquisition.
Oh no. I mean, grounded maybe on some level, but definitely not Pentiment.
Yeah, and it's like, well, if that's a trade-off, then great. And it sounds like this was like a reduction in scope. From what we understand about Avowed, it's probably gone through at least one reboot
Mhm.
in its time.
Yeah.
I think Jess Corden said something along those lines that
Mhm.
it's been rebooted in development.
Yeah.
It's taken so long to come out at this point. By the time it comes out, it'll have been almost 4 years after the announcement. And the acquisition of Obsidian was in 2018, so they were already envisioning this game 6 years ago,
Mhm.
5, 6 years ago. So I would be curious to see what a co-op version of this game would look like because I think Pillars of Eternity is a phenomenal game with a party system. But at the same time, I don't think that every game needs it. Like this very much feels like this is Obsidian's version of Elder Scrolls. Like they talk about it a little bit. And they basically say they're trying to stay true to the Pillars of Eternity duology, but also make it way more accessible for more people to come in and enjoy the game. Like, and by nature, this game has to be more accessible than a CRPG.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I mean, it's I mean, from the looks of it, it's like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls Light, right? With
yeah,
interesting
it
things.
feels like
So
it's. And I know that it's been dinged by some. This isn't like a negative, but I know like Destin Legary was saying some stuff back when this came out, like this doesn't look at all like I imagined it was going to, and I think a lot of people were really surprised seeing Avowed
yeah.
at the summer showcase.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I don't really know why people were surprised. Like it looked like what I expected it to. I mean, I know that teaser trailer was like kind of way more realistic looking, but
yeah,
like I don't I don't I don't know what I was expecting, but it didn't like throw me off when I saw it. I mean, I thought it looked kind of cool.
my favorite comments were like, "How did we go from this to this?" And it's like, "Huh, it's amazing what 5 years in development and 2 reboots will do to you."
Yeah. And a
You know?
CG tonal
And it was
trailer.
and it was a CG trailer. Like, come on, guys! Like, y'all are professionals. Y'all been around long enough to know how this works.
Ah, who's a professional? Who's professionals?
Oh my god.
Twitter angry mob professional.
Twitter angry mob professionals. No, I think that I listen. I've been pretty clear that outside of Starfield, Avowed is my most anticipated Xbox game. Obsidian does not miss.
Mhm.
So very excited. The director of it is one of the directors of, or one of the heads of Outer Worlds. I
Yeah.
think she was the head of story. So very excited to see what happens here, what gets cooked up. Hopefully, we're playing it by this time next year. I really hope it's not being saved as their fall game,
Yeah,
but
I
we'll
feel
see.
like this should be like a summerish game or like
I'd love for this
May.
to be like, yeah, I'd love for this to be a May release. Like, put it in that Tears of the Kingdom slot.
Yeah. I mean, you have to assume what Hellblade will be the Q1 game, and if they're aiming to have a game every quarter,
So I think Hellblade is probably like April. I'm gonna go late March, early April, simply because I think Towerborn is going to be that Q1
oh
game.
right, I keep forgetting Towerborn exists.
Towerborn, because it is worth noting, Towerborn is going to be playable at Gamescom this
Hmm.
month,
Yeah,
and there is an insider beta that's going to be going live pretty soon.
yeah, I forgot Towerborn was
Um,
Microsoft
yeah,
published.
very very excited for that one. And we don't know like how big do they think that game is? Like, is that one that they would consider alongside like their heavy hitters? That is a big partnership for them with Sodic Studios.
Hmm.
Stoic, excuse me. Um, Stoic has never made a game this big before, especially a multiplayer game. They've never made a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
So it remains to be seen like how big that's going to be. I imagine it'll be a big Game Pass game.
yeah,
But if those three are out by the summer showcase, I think you're in really good shape if you're Xbox.
hmm,
They said we don't know everything coming in 2024 yet, and I think it's safe to assume that Contraband is probably that summer game.
yeah. I would say like what the August ish.
Yeah, I'd put it out like mid July, mid to late July, maybe.
Yeah,
Just like as a because it's supposed to be a multiplayer Just Cause essentially.
yeah. I'm trying to think just based on now that obviously I don't have to hold to this, but just having like one game every quarter. I'm just trying to think like by quarter, but I mean it doesn't have to fall that way, right?
I mean,
So
if it came out in March, then Hellblade could be your Q1.
yeah, yeah,
But they have so many games in development from these studios that like I think you have to think that maybe the Q3 and 4 game for next year, they're big partnerships. I mean, let's assume the Q3 is Contraband,
hmm,
because that could fall anywhere from July to September. Let's assume that is.
yeah.
What's your fall game? Fable?
I mean it could be a Forza Horizon. I mean, isn't there Forza
I
Horizon in development supposedly?
I'd be really disappointed if we got another Forza Horizon before Fable came out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
be honest. I really think that like it's got to be that, or it's something that we don't know about. Like it's Gear 6 or something.
I don't think Gear 6 is far enough along. I feel like they would have shown it this year if it was coming next year.
You never know. Gears is one of the very few Microsoft franchises. It's kind of like Forza at this point, where like they could just come out, show a trailer, and say, "Yeah, it's dropping in 4 months." They
Yeah.
own so many studios now too that like the games are going to start tripping over each other. Like it's nice that they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to aim to have one big game per quarter."
Plus, I mean,
Man, look at how many studios you own. Like you're going to have way more than that.
yeah. I mean, plus, whoops. Plus, like, we don't really know really what id or machine games are they counting those as Xbox studios too? Like,
Yes.
I mean, and then like the
Yes.
Activision deal, like, will they count next year's Call of Duty as a
Yes.
Q4 game? Right? Like, I mean, you know,
Well, and it's like, yeah, when you look at that, it's like, well, that's admirable that you want to say that, and you're like trying to stay humble. You're really going to have more like at least two a quarter.
yeah. I mean, it'd be
Like
more like
how
what
many are
how
in
Nintendo
development?
puts games out now, right? I mean,
Yeah, like that's how many studios they own now. Is that like when they start reaching like the critical mass? Like it's been working on their next game since early 2020.
yeah.
You know,
Which what we
that's
assume is Quake.
largely, yeah, it's largely rumored to be Quake.
Yeah.
Machine Games has two games in development:
Hmm.
Indiana Jones and Wolfenstein.
Hmm.
Well, we assume it's Wolfenstein.
I mean, I would be
Um,
shocked if it wasn't. I mean, what else would it be at this point?
I don't know. There's the rumor going around that Tango supposedly has a JRPG in development.
Yeah.
I would expect that one to be a couple years off, though.
Hmm.
They put out Ghostwire and Hi-Fi Rush in a 10-month period.
Also, they're publishing IO's game, right?
Yeah, they're so IO hasn't explicitly confirmed it, but yeah, it is. It is thought that Microsoft is publishing
Hmm.
a medieval fantasy game from them.
Project Dragon is supposedly what
Project
it's called.
Dragon. I think that's what the Barcelona studio is working on right now. Like that game's still a couple
Hmm.
years out.
And I mean, IO also has that 007 game, which I'm really interested to see what that is.
Yeah. Um they've got Contraband. Contraband's the other one that's like furthest along for their partners. which has been delayed a couple of times now. When it got revealed in 2021, it was with the intent of it coming out in 22, and then they delayed it to give it more time, and then at some point it just got internally delayed again. I think Microsoft probably went to them after they were seeing how Redfall was looking and were like, "No, y'all got this. This has to be good.
Mm-hmm.
We can't put out another 4-player co-op fun party game that is not actually fun."
Mm-hmm.
So, and like we've been saying it for so long that like, and I think that like the delays to Avowed, to circle it back to Avowed, I think like the delays to Avowed to take co-op out, we don't know if that caused a delay or not, but at some point when the game got reworked, that got taken out.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it was fairly early, so Avowed may have been reworked a couple of times. I think Avowed probably struggled, and this is not a knock to anybody at Obsidian, probably struggled to find its voice with Josh Sawyer not coming back,
Yeah.
and with Chris Avellone being fired.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he wasn't fired. He was not asked to work on Avowed. Of course, he got fired from Dying Light 2 after the sexual assault allegations came out.
Mm-hmm. Which he
But
won
he
that
was
case, by the way, though.
yeah, but still,
No,
I
I
mean,
know what you mean. I'm
he was
just
a huge contributor to a lot of Obsidian's games as well.
yeah.
Being the lead writer, I believe, on Pillars 1 at least, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, so a lot of the creative team just like wasn't working from Pillars, wasn't working on it, so you gotta find new voices and like traditional AAA turnover and whatnot. It's like, okay, but Obsidian has like been doing so much work that it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give them a pass. I'm gonna let them make whatever they want to make, because they once said that they had a game plan for each of the next 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
They said that in 2022. And so it feels to me like Avowed was probably supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
And once once Xbox knew Starfield was getting pushed to this fall, they were like, "Hey, y'all take more time.
Yeah.
Take more time. Don't rush it out. Make it as good as you possibly can." They've got Outer Worlds 2 cooking as well,
Yeah.
which I had long thought was going to be the 2024 game from them. I can't imagine them shipping 2 AAA releases in the same year.
No, especially two huge, like, mid-tier RPGs at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't think so.
Because they're saying Avowed is comparable in size to Outer Worlds, and I believe Outer Worlds 2 is supposed to be bigger than Outer Worlds 1.
Yeah.
So,
Don't they have a third project in development too?
they've got a couple other ones in development that are like at least in incubation. But I mean, if you're promising a game every year for the next 6 to 7 years, because
Yeah.
they said it in response to a question about Fallout.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we've got like our next 6 or 7 years already mapped out for releases. We're aiming to release a game every year.
Yeah.
Then I would say like they probably are not working on a Fallout game,
Yeah, I would assume they're not.
but I'd really love for them to. I'd really love a New Vegas remaster, if nothing else. I mean that very well could be one of those projects.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I Obsidian though, man, talk about probably the best purchase that they've made so far
Oh, I know, man. They're
in
like,
terms of like individual talent
mhm.
and output. Like they've been consistent.
I mean, Obsidian is Xbox's Insomniac at this point, right? I mean, they're just,
In terms of the output, I would say yeah.
yeah.
In terms of like raw talent, I mean, it's hard for me to go like, oh yeah, Obsidian's the best studio when I like remember that. Well, technically they own id and they own Bethesda,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
the coalition is there. Like Playground, the Wizards at Playground are still there.
Oh, I
Turn
know,
10
man.
is there. Like, but they very quietly took a lot of these studios that were failing and have made them into a respectable studio group. Now it's just, can these big projects that they got the budgeting for actually stick the landing?
Yeah.
In the next 18 months, we're going to see, presumably, Fable, Avowed, South of Midnight, and Clockwork Revolution all land.
Hmm.
And Towerborn, and probably, I was just talking about it so much, Contraband.
Hmm.
Like, you're going to see all those games probably land in the next, I would say, 18 to 20 months.
Yeah.
Um, those games have to be good.
Hmm.
They have to be good. Like there is no reality in which those games can be like, oh well, they got 7, they got the Mojang score, it's okay. Like,
Hmm.
no, these games like actually have to be good,
Yeah.
because especially for some of these, like, for some of them it's much more critical than others. Like Playground, I think people will be a little bit more forgiving considering they've always done Forza Horizon, and they went from Horizon to starting up an RPG studio with it.
Mhm.
Like people are going to be less understanding for a veteran studio like Obsidian or a studio like who's making South of Midnight? I forget the studio's name.
Compulsion.
Compulsion. I kept wanting to say Coalition, and it's not Coalition at all.
Not the coalition.
Compulsion. You who haven't really had a hit.
Yeah.
And they've been cooking on this since We Happy Few came out.
Yeah.
It's got to be good, and that's not to put pressure on these teams or to paint a target on their backs. It's just like it's the reality of it. Like the investments at some point have to start paying off. You can only have so many games be Redfalls or have the horrendous first year support like Halo Infinite had.
Mhm.
And as we've seen, like when given time, Microsoft can turn around these games that launch as duds.
Mhm.
We've seen what happened with Sea of Thieves, and we're seeing the same thing happen with Halo Infinite now.
Mhm.
I would rather you be less ambitious, like they're doing with Avowed, than be too ambitious and miss the mark completely. You can't undo that. Like you can't undo 76.
Yeah.
You can't undo Fallout 76. You wouldn't be able to undo the co-op in Avowed if it didn't land. And there's balancing issues and things like that. I would rather have a good like 35 hour single player RPG in this world
Mhm.
that I know has like a finite end to it.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be a Starfield or a Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And I mean Witcher 3 does have a definitive end too, but it's like I don't need everything to be this massive open like 200-hour RPG. Not everything needs to be a Baldur's Gate. Not everything needs to be a No Man's Sky. It's okay to come out, and I think that's part of why Outer Worlds was so successful is it had an end.
Mhm.
It had an end, and then it got 2 great DLCs to build on top of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Avowed.
I'm stoked.
I really like the Outer Worlds like a lot,
Mhm.
and
I've never played an Obsidian game I didn't like. Pentiment was
yeah.
one of my game of the years
Yeah.
for 2022. So
Yeah. One day, maybe we'll get a third South Park game from them.
we are getting a third South Park game.
Not the
Embracer
one.
Group is making it.
Not the one I want, Josh. Snow
I
Days.
man,
Gross. I don't even want to talk about it. You know what license game I do want to talk about, Josh?
which is also from Embracer.
I know. Shut up. Oh, man. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin has been revealed, Josh. Very
Yeah,
excited.
This game is super early in development.
I know, but oh my gosh, dude, The Last Ronin, what a great title to make a video game.
This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game I will finally play.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've played them all.
Because I don't care about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I feel like I've made this really clear. I'm not a Ninja Turtles kid. I never was. I am so excited for this game though, having read the graphic novel.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. This is like the one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story I actually know.
Yeah. Everybody should read The Last Ronin, even if you're not a TMNT fan. The only thing you need to know is that there is one surviving turtle, and he's out to get revenge for the family he lost.
I am really nervous about this game.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm 100% nervous about the game based on who's developing it. But
yeah, the developer has me extremely nervous. For those wondering,
Black Forest.
Black Forest, which is they've done the acclaimed Destroy All Humans,
and don't forget the acclaimed Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams platform.
I don't even know what that is.
It's on. I think it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, just because it's on Game Pass doesn't mean I'm playing it, Corey.
You should. You're missing out.
Oh my god!
Do you even know the origin of the Gianna Sisters?
No.
It was a ROM hack of the original Super Mario Brothers that somebody tried to like take that game and put new sprites in it and sell it on one of those like the the fake carts, the black carts, the Tengen carts, and yeah, and they made some new ones recently. I think there's like 3 of them now, like modern ones.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that Brian Shea over here at Game Informer says according to Senior Vice President for Games and Emerging Media at Paramount Global, an interview with Polygon back in March. The Last Ronin will be a single-player action RPG similar to the modern God of War games.
Mm-hmm.
The title will feature a mature tone, which should be exciting for fans of the comic, but Rosen made it clear in March the game was years away from release. I'm very nervous about mature tone and this studio.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that you want a game to be similar in playstyle to the God of War series, and I do think that's about the only way. I think a Last Ronin game works if you approach it like that or like Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm.
I think either of those playstyles would be great.
Yeah.
I would almost prefer like the Devil May Cry Bayonetta, just hack and slash,
Yeah.
just because I think you could make it like super goofy and still keep it dark at the same time. I
Yeah.
think like the combat can be a little goofy and still make it dark. I'm going to be very cautious and cautiously optimistic on this until we see some gameplay, which we're probably not seeing until like at least the next fall.
Yeah.
But
I do want to
yeah.
say I will play it because
I'll play it. I'll
unlike
play it.
Josh, I am a huge Ninja Turtles fan, and I have played all the good and the bad Ninja Turtles games.
I'll play it simply because I like The Last Ronin.
Yeah. Oh man, don't screw it up.
Don't
Don't
screw
screw
it
it
up. You
up.
guys, this is a definition of you have one job.
Listen, the only reason why this was in the headline stories and not the DLC section of this podcast is because I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan and I had to talk about it.
And to be fair, it was one of the biggest stories of last week. So,
Yeah. Oh, TMNT, don't let me down. I hear the new movie's good though. Haven't seen it, but I hear it's good.
I can't wait. I actually really want to see this one.
Mm-hmm. Also, did you know that there's already a sequel and a TV series in development?
I did not know that, but that makes me pretty excited. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
They basically said it's like the Ninja Turtles version of Across the Spider-Verse, or
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse, excuse me, which excites me because I saw the trailer and I was like, hey, it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah. It kind of threw me off though, because like all the voices are like kids and they're like teenagers. Like, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. But I'm so used to the original 1990 movie where, look, I love that movie, but Raph is essentially like a disgruntled 40-year-old New Yorker.
Man, it's such a good voice cast too.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan as Splinter is like kind of perfect.
Yeah. So
I love it.
I'm excited to see it. It'll be on streaming somewhere eventually. So
I guess Seth Rogen wrote it, and then when it's not good enough that I wrote it, I'm making myself Bebop, I'm making myself
he's
Bebop,
Bebop.
and John Cena's going to be Rocksteady.
Isn't that
It's
hilarious?
fantastic.
It's so funny.
Fantastic.
Oh man, it's so good.
So good.
Oh man, there's a lot
Corey,
of
we got
villains
one
in
more
there too in the movie.
Oh, there's a lot of stories. Ice Cube is Superfly.
I know. It's so funny. All right, Josh. Enough about Ninja Turtles. I could talk about it for another half hour, but we got more stories to go through.
We have one more big story, and I'm very excited to talk about this one.
Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3. Now a lot of PlayStation fans are cheering that they have their, exclusive to go up against Starfield. But it's not what you think, everybody out there. Baldur's Gate is missing Xbox at launch due to Series S, it's claimed. That they can't get split screen co-op working on the Series S. First of all, Josh, how do you feel about that? And do you really think the Series S is becoming a problem?
So first to address the specific issue of Baldur's Gate 3, I found it interesting that this was the game that was going to struggle to run split screen co-op on Series S. But this game is gorgeous. It's huge. It's beautiful. I think Jason Ronald, I think, was talking about it and said that they have a team of engineers from Xbox embedded at Larian right now, focused on getting it working on Series S to Larian's standards. Not just to Microsoft's, but to Larian's standards, which are sky high.
Yeah.
And I mean, rightfully should be.
Yeah.
This is a game that was in early access for 3 years. This does feel like something you probably should have known about a long time ago, though, and should have gone to Microsoft and been like, hey, this is going to be a bit of an issue. Can we get some help optimizing this?
Yeah.
This maybe could have been avoided.
Yeah.
But
even if it wasn't avoided, though, I mean, do you think it would have gotten lost coming out at a similar time frame as Starfield?
No, not even a little bit. You look at how many concurrent people are playing Baldur's Gate 3 on Steam at any given time.
Yeah.
and add in the fact that it's one of the best reviewed games ever made.
Hmm.
And the expectations for this are sky high right now for the console release.
Hmm.
Like Divinity Original Sin 2 was huge on consoles.
Yeah.
So I fully expect Baldur's Gate 3 to be a massive hit on PlayStation 5. I do think that Xbox fans might have been like, I'm going to play Starfield first and then I'll go to Baldur's Gate. That's kind of the position that I'm in right now. Like, I will finally have a machine that can play Baldur's Gate, but that's 4 days into Starfield early access. I'm good.
Hmm.
I'm good. I'm going to be playing Starfield, and then I'll split my time between Phantom Liberty and Baldur's Gate 3. But I think that it's interesting that they say here in the article um, that Microsoft wants feature parity across Series X and Series S, so much so there's a suggestion that Larian would not be able to release one version of Baldur's Gate 3 with split screen co-op and the other without it. Last we heard from Larian was it was working on it, weighing up some compromises, suggestion being that split screen co-op on Series S could potentially be removed. Um, but Eurogamer talked to the head of Larian and asked if that was even a possibility. He says it's challenging. The
Hmm.
team has been working hard on making it work, but they're still working on it. And the problem with the optimizations is you finish one thing and then a new one pops up. So here we're dealing with a situation where we just go through the motions. The team will manage because they managed to make Original Sin 2 run on the Switch, but it took time.
Yeah. I forgot that those games are on Switch.
Does that mean then that they're confident it will happen? I'm confident in the team, Vinky answered. If it's possible, they'll make it happen, but it's a very big game. Somebody told me something the other day, and I thought it was a really good way of saying it. They were talking about Call of Duty, and they said every single time there's a player that comes in, you get a little zone around the player, and the more zones you have, the slower it becomes. We have the same thing in a game like Baldur's Gate, where it's all fine and well if you have one character walking around the city, but if the party splits up and there's four characters going in four different directions in the city, and they start doing crazy shit that I'm doing, like fireballs, it's a lot of simulation that has to happen on one screen, and so that's taxing and requires memory. Um, as far as Larian's concerned, he does say here split screen is a must for us. We don't want to release it without split screen, so we wouldn't want to do that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's tough, man. Like I man, I'm glad that they're taking that stance though, because like you want the game you envisioned, especially since like it's doing so well on PC and presumably it'll crush on PlayStation, right? Like you
mhm.
don't want to compromise it on a platform where you know what I mean?
Right. To get to the bigger question around this, though, because like none of this is new. Like we've been
Yeah.
dealing with this all summer, right?
Hmm.
Ever since the PlayStation Showcase, where well, not even the PlayStation Showcase, but the State of Play in the spring, where they announced it was coming to PS5 and had nothing really to say about Xbox. It should be worth noting that this is going to be a more common topic as time goes
Yeah. I mean, they're not the only
on.
ones that have complained about this, or not complained, but
No,
had issues, right? I mean, Remedy has been really vocal about this.
yeah, and I guess it comes down to like you can still make it work. Like I don't, and I listen. I'm backseat game developing. I don't understand. I don't know particularly what the difference is between developing for like minimum specs on a PC versus minimum specs on a console.
Hmm.
Right. That's kind of how I view the Series S. But I know that kind of the attitude Microsoft has had is like that should be the thing you're primarily developing for is the Series S.
Hmm.
And I know that a lot of studios don't want to take that stance because they want to develop for, high end PCs and PS5 and Series X. They want to show off the power of these. It's one thing for Microsoft teams to get things to work on the Series S. It's another thing entirely, just like Nintendo. Like we always talk about how like Nintendo has these amazing looking games. It's like, yeah, their team only has to focus on one console.
Yeah.
They don't have to focus on everything else. Like they're wizards. They can work with whatever technical capabilities or liabilities that there are,
Hmm.
and that's fine and dandy. I mean, it's why you get a game like Tears of the Kingdom looking the way that it does on the Switch.
Hmm.
But you look at something like Starfield, and I think that we're gonna have to have this conversation in a couple weeks. If Starfield doesn't run well in the Series S, I think Microsoft is going to be in a position where they have to go shit.
Yeah.
But I do think, and I don't say that to like fearmonger. I say that to like, and maybe Starfield's a bad example. Todd Howard has talked about how like that's the primary console that he's playing Starfield on right now.
Hmm.
Is his Series S. Um, but we are getting to a point where this is going to keep being an issue, so much so that I really thought that we were going to get an announcement of a disk drive less version of the Series X
Hmm.
at the summer showcase, and that they were going to phase out the Series S. I cannot believe they doubled down on the
I
Series
know.
S. I'm floored. I don't think it's like bad necessarily, but I don't think it's good.
Yeah, this is a tough situation, man. Like
I would rather have a version of the Series X without the disk drive for 350
yeah,
than have this.
yeah.
I'm going to be totally honest.
Let me propose this question to you, Josh.
Hit me.
If I know they said that everything that runs on Series X has to run on Series S.
Yeah.
If they released now, I know they kind of came out and said they weren't going to do this, but if PlayStation does this, like the rumors are suggesting, I think Xbox probably should respond, right? As a mid-gen
Hmm.
upgrade. Do you think that they could say, hey, everything runs on this Series X2 needs to run on Series X, but the stuff that runs on Series X2 or whatever is uh cloud only on Series S?
I do think that there is a possibility that we'll get to that point. The issue is cloud infrastructure just isn't there.
I know, but you can
It,
run some of these games on cloud on Xbox One, right?
I know you can, and I mean they have vastly varying
Yeah,
quality.
it sucks, but you
Um,
technically can do it.
and I mean, like, I guess if you're in your house with like a really good internet connection, then that's fine. Um,
It's not fine. I have really good internet connection and cloud sucks.
I think that you're at a point where Microsoft's going to have to decide within the next year, and this would be a lot easier to decide if they hadn't just released a new SKU.
Right.
Why we're getting this and not a Series X branded Starfield console blows my mind.
I know.
I don't understand this, guys, or a white Series X or something.
Yeah, I'm
I
shocked we didn't get some sort of special edition console for this. Especially we got a
I
Halo
can't,
one.
I can't believe it. It's
We're
unbelievable
getting
for
the
me.
Porsche Forza ones.
We're not even getting special. Well, we did get a special controller. I take that back. I got a controller and a headset, so I'm actually kind of happy.
Yeah, well,
I
GameStop messed up
think
my order, so I didn't get either. So
you're at a point where you're going to have to start deciding: are you going to hold developers to the fire on Series S or not?
mhm,
Because if it's a really bad look for you, if your console can't run what may now be the front runner for Game of the Year,
mhm.
that's a really, really, really bad look for Microsoft.
Yeah,
And it's not one that's going to go away either.
nope.
This is more ammunition in console wars.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a very valid point, though. You went all in on the Series S, which, granted, it was in development before the pandemic, and I think it was a great idea. But, and coming out of the gate, like, it was great. You know, you're focused on Game Pass and all this and that. I think the Series S would have been fine if it was just a digital Series X. And I really think Microsoft has to be looking at two decisions they made around the Series X and S that they really wish they could go back in time on. And one, I think, is the Series S in general.
yeah,
I think if they could do it over, it would be a digital Series X without the disk drive.
yeah,
Maybe they undercut PlayStation by like $50 on it
yeah. I
to
mean,
make you
they
go, hey, how bad do you really want that disk drive?
right. You take the loss and hope you make it up in Game Pass and game sales, right? I mean, that's
The other thing is proprietary memory was a huge blunder, and I really can't believe that they did that.
you don't think that
I
could be some sort of software update that you can have some sort of
Nope,
external SSD?
nope. I mean, you could have an external SSD, but why would I want external when I can pop my PS5 open and put in a 2 terabyte hard drive with a heat sink for under $100?
Yeah, but
Like,
I think the average person doesn't
that's a
want to open their
problem.
console though.
No, I know the average person doesn't want to, but that's still a problem. That's a pretty big issue, I think. Proprietary memory is a problem. In the year of our Lord 2023, I should not be having to buy a $200 1 terabyte hard memory card. It's bad. With how big games are and how the focus is increasingly going digital. I mean, you have entire games that aren't going to release physically, like Alan Wake.
Hmm.
Baldur's Gate 3 is one of those. Baldur's Gate 3 is a digital only release on console.
Hmm.
But you're going to tell me that I can't install more space, or, oh, you can put things in cold storage. I don't want cold storage. Just give me a USB-C port and let me hook up a USB-C drive.
Yeah.
This is not hard to understand.
Yeah, I wonder there has to be some sort of like Series X Elite in development, right? Where like it'll have USB-C
I would
drive
think so.
or.
I
ports
would
of.
think that if they have a pro console in development,
Mhm.
um, that it's probably aiming for like September 2025 at this point.
Man, that's so far
That's
away.
like what the that's what the rumors are pegging for like a PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
Um, Side note, that PS5 Slim
Oh, I
with the
know.
detachable drive looks fucking ugly.
I know. I mean, the PlayStation 5 looks ugly.
I actually really like the design of it. It's just too damn tall.
I yeah.
It looks cool. Anyways, it looks like a building in Starfield, but that's beside the point.
It
Um,
looks like
I
this
just
looks
think
like the statue from Everybody Loves Raymond, the sculpture that Bob makes.
you're gonna keep running into these problems though, and if Larian is hitting it already, and Larian is saying, "Hey, one of the best developers in the world is saying, hey, we're running into problems with this," I think everybody else is going to start going, "Uh-oh," because you may not hit it this year, but as you get into 2024 and you start getting these games that are supposed to be next or current gen only, like Alan Wake 2 is going to be the next big one. How's that going to run on Series S? That when I look at games that are not cross gen that I know are coming up that are not Microsoft games, I don't think the first party games are a good benchmark.
Mhm.
Of course you're going to make the ones that run on your console look good, no
Mhm.
matter what. They're going to be optimized. I'm looking ahead to next gen only games or next gen current gen. Um, I'm looking at things like Alan Wake 2. I'm looking for the next big RPG that comes out that's only on current gen, that it doesn't have an Xbox One or a PS4 version. Like I'm looking to see how Metaphor is going to run next year on Series S.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these big these I want these big open worlds. Like how are they going to continue running? And it may very well be just because of the couch co-op aspect. That genuinely may be a thing.
Mhm.
And hey, if that is the main thing, then okay,
Yeah.
maybe you don't run into problems, because I don't think anybody who's buying a Series S really cares that most games are rendered in like 1080 or 1440,
Yeah.
because a lot of times they're still hitting that 60 frames.
Yeah. I mean, I think Starfield's going to be a test, but I also think like Clockwork Revolution and Fable may be tests, and those are first party games, right? I mean,
Yeah,
man.
I would say I think the things that put the emphasis on you have to be generating two different parts of the map, like they explained. Like I'm actually really curious to know how Diablo 4 ran in split screen. I've never played it in split screen, but I think that would be maybe a good indicator with all the effects that are on screen. Maybe Diablo 4 could be something to look at. Um, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well,
But this is surely not the last we've heard of either part of this story, either the Baldur's Gate 3 part or the Series S woes.
yeah.
Um,
What's the next game you think is going to have issues on the Series S? Predictably.
mm, if I had to, I mean, Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clearly going to release no matter what, but
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how it runs on there.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
see, that's the thing though. I think like if it's a single player game, I think you're okay. It's when you're trying to generate the split screen, and I mean, it just brings me back to all the talk that there was about the Halo Infinite split screen
Hmm.
and how they had to eventually just can it
Hmm.
because they couldn't get it to work. And I strongly suspect it's because Xbox One and Series S could not handle it.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. If your first party teams can't get that to work after, a year,
Hmm.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I agree.
So what do you like what's Microsoft going to do? Like Phil Spencer's got choices to make here, and he may be like, okay, well, we can kind of skirt this for right now, because I feel like if you buy a Series S, you know what you're getting yourself into at this point.
Yeah.
Either you're buying it for a kid who's not playing super taxing things like Fortnite.
Hmm.
You're getting it as a second machine / media box.
Yeah.
I don't know many people who have this just as their primary Xbox in their house
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, my nephews have a
or their
Series
primary console.
S. My nephews have a Series S, and they're. I
Mhm.
mean, the games that are installed on there: Fortnite, Minecraft,
Yep.
Roblox. So I
We've
mean,
got one in the bedroom, and that's what my girlfriend plays on. But I think we just have like Sea of Thieves and a handful of Game Pass games installed on there. But we use it as a media box like
mhm.
9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, I mean mine has Destiny, Halo Infinite, and Disney Dreamlight Valley and Fortnite installed on it. Those are the 4 games that are installed on it. And that's
Yeah.
probably how it's going to stay, right? I mean, I don't really have any plans on using it for anything else. I kind of want some sort of Series X or discless Series S to put in another room.
If they did a digital only Series X, if they came out and announced one, I would place an order for it today
Yeah, so would I. 100%.
because it needs to happen.
Hmm. Yeah, I would put the my Series X that's in my office in the living room, and then I would put the digital one in my office. So, well, I guess we'll find out, Josh.
Yeah, this isn't the last we've heard of it. I do think that the topic will probably go away for a little while though after Alan Wake.
Yeah,
Because I mean that's not a co-op game either. It's
yeah,
just like Remedy has specifically talked about having issues. I think it's more due to like how Remedy does lighting.
yeah.
And their games have always looked like really, really, really
Oh
good.
my gosh, dude, Control looks amazing.
I mean, Quantum Break was phenomenal looking too.
Yeah.
You know, especially for the time that it came out and everything. And again, there's something to be said about developing just for one console.
Hmm.
Um, I guess the good news for Microsoft is there's not a lot of like major like 100-hour games that have, like hundreds of hours of cutscenes and, are trying to go for couch co-op on top of that.
Right.
So they can probably ride this. I would say they can probably ride this for like another 18 months or so.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the cat.
this time next year, like I would say probably like next Christmas, we're going to be having the discussion again of okay, they got to announce that they're going to stop requiring it to be mandatory going forward.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think of like other couch co-op games, and I can't really think of a lot.
yeah, there's not a lot, and that's why like it was so big that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be one, and that Diablo 4 was one.
Yeah.
That's why I'm curious if you're listening to this and you have played Diablo 4 in couch co-op on a Series S, please let us know.
Yeah. Yes, please. All right, Josh, let's get to some of these smaller stories real quick, and we'll blow through these, and then we'll talk about what's coming to Game Pass, and then we'll get out of here.
Let's do it.
DLC time. Uh, TMNT skins in Street Fighter have been announced and causing a frenzy on how much they are quote overpriced. They are.
Yeah, this is dumb.
I mean, they're $15 a turtle, 4 turtles, $60 for the whole DLC. I mean, I get it. I understand both sides, right? I mean, we play Destiny; those skins are 15 and $20, also pretty overpriced. But I mean, that's what skins are now. I mean, you look at Fortnite skins and Fortnite packs, and I mean, those depending on which skins you get are like between $8 and $15, right? So
I think that's a little different though.
it's free to play. So I mean, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah,
catch.
it's a little different, and like it's not like these are just skins. These aren't even like oh they're full on fighters.
Yeah.
And I hear you can only use them in like certain modes too.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard nothing positive about these though. So
I think they look cool.
even from like Ninja Turtles super fans, I've heard that there is like nothing redeeming about this.
If it makes you feel better, you can get Injustice right now for $8, and the Turtles DLC is $1.99 on sale right now. So
That's the better option. It really is.
yeah.
In all seriousness,
Oh man, those turtles look so good too. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
no,
Um,
not at all.
Story we covered on Tower Casuals, but Keith David is taking over the role of Zavala in Destiny for the late Lance Reddick. We kind of had that discussion on Tower Casuals, so if you want to
Yeah, we
hear
had
more
a
about
pretty
that,
lengthy discussion at the top of the episode.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but I know it was a business decision, and they have to do it to continue that character story, and I don't think they could have made a better decision.
he was the only choice.
Yeah.
If Keith David had said no, then I would have wanted them to just retire him. Honestly,
Yeah. This one's for you, Josh. Stalker 2 gets a tentative temporary release date, maybe placeholder in December.
yeah, I'm a little curious about this. December 1st is the placeholder right now, according to some site in Europe, I think.
Yeah.
It is worth noting that is a Friday.
Yeah.
That is a Friday. I would not be shocked if this was it. This is supposed to be a huge focus of Microsoft's Gamescom booth.
Mm-hmm.
Is Stalker 2?
Yeah.
It is the first time it will be playable to the public.
Yeah.
I am very excited for this game. I've been excited for it. I liked Stalker way, way back in the day on games for Windows. I remember. I remember
Games.
the original Stalker. But like this game has this series has such a storied history. Like a will it won't they will they won't they with Xbox.
Yeah.
That the original Stalker games, they wanted to bring them to Xbox and they couldn't figure out, like, they just couldn't run. It was kind of like the original Crisis had a lot of problems with consoles.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes of it'll melt your PC and whatnot.
Mm.
That's kind of how it was, like how Stalker would have been on consoles at the time.
Yeah.
Stalker 2 has gone through several iterations, several attempts at making it, but this was like the most unexpected announcement of the 2020 showcase a couple years ago. I have been following it religiously since. It was the highlight of the 2021 showcase for me at E3.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was awesome. We got like a 5-minute demo of it. It looked beautiful, and then everything kind of went to shit. They went through this weird. They had this weird NFT announcement to like get more funding for the game, and they had to backtrack less than like 4 hours later on it
Yeah.
because people like just immediately crusaded in the middle of the night. Ukrainians like crusaded against it, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Um, the invasion of Ukraine happens last spring, causing them to move development of the game to Prague, and you know, several of the development team chose to stay and fight. At least one of whom lost their life. But this game has been still in development. This and there was a game that was in development in Belarus that also has a deal with Xbox from Sadcat, Replaced, which is supposed to be coming out. Which another one of my highlights from that same E3. So I'm interested to see how this goes. This poor studio has been hacked multiple times. Lots of files for the game have been leaked online. But anytime that they've had an update or a dev diary, it's been an inspiring watch. I'll be playing this day one regardless. This is one of those games like I may even just buy, even though I probably like won't play more than a handful of hours of it.
Yeah.
Just to support the studio. This is like the ultimate. I want to support them for humanitarian reasons.
Yeah.
Purchase.
Yeah.
But hey, if that is a December release, then that it's a pretty stacked back half of the year for Xbox and Game Pass.
Yeah, for sure. Josh, one more late entry, and I don't know how true this is, but I saw this floating around on Twitter, and it's on one of the Rainbow Six Siege siege.gg.
Mm-hmm.
Master Chief skin is
It
apparently
is real.
coming to
It is real. Can
yeah.
confirm.
Yeah, as the character Sledge is getting a Master Chief skin, which
I think it's cool. It's a little goofy, but
I think the skin looks good though. I mean,
the skin looks good. Him holding the sledgehammer looks goofy as fuck.
yeah, it's silly. I think the sledgehammer should have been like a gravity hammer, like a small gravity hammer, like just a whatever. It looks cool. I really like how Rainbow Six Siege has gone from like strict military shooter to like basically GI Joe at this point.
It really does. I'm really, really happy to see this though, because it does give me hope that oh my god, Corey, we didn't even talk about it.
What?
We have one more main story we have to talk about tonight.
Oh shoot! What's the main story? What?
At Evo last weekend,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
we got an announcement that for 10 years, fuck you, Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
We got an announcement that for 10 years of Killer Instinct, Iron Galaxy is returning to do an anniversary update.
I know, that's so awesome.
Oh my god, I cannot believe we actually got out of. We were actually going to get out of this,
man, I
and
forgot about Killer Instinct, man.
oh my lord, I really can't believe that. Oh Jesus, I can't believe this.
How did
I'm
we do
pulling up
that?
the story right now. Pulling it up right now. But
How did we
yeah,
do that, John?
I don't know. I was so excited to talk about this, and I just didn't even put it in the doc. 10th anniversary update,
Yeah.
because they had an anniversary showcase. The update is coming this year, so the 10th anniversary update, because there was a May quality of life update But Iron Galaxy and Xbox have been working behind the scenes to do improved matchmaking, optimization for Series X and S, and balance updates, a new meta for Killer Instinct more than 5 years after the last meta update. There will be more to come later in the year about the 10th anniversary update. The reason I wanted to bring this up, Corey, we heard the rumor last year from Jez Corden that Killer Instinct was on the move at Xbox again.
Who
That
was
there
Bandai Namco,
It
right?
was rumored to be Bandai Namco, and everybody was like, "What about Iron Galaxy?" I wonder how fast did Phil Spencer pick up the phone after seeing that Rumbleverse was closing down and go, "Hey guys, you want money?
Yeah.
Because we'd really like for Killer Instinct to be a thing again."
Yeah. Especially with
It
this
blows
rise.
my mind how they didn't lean into this game more.
I know, man. Especially with the rise of fighting games at this point, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like they have enough character. Like this could be easily be like their Smash, right? Like with the guest
Well, so
characters.
that's what I wanted to talk about because I don't think you're going to get. I don't think you're going to get any more characters for this Killer
No,
Instinct. I
not
think
this
it'll be
one.
a brand new game. But if you were to make a brand new Killer Instinct, Corey, and you were picking characters to be in there
Oh
from
God.
across Xbox, Bethesda, and Activision Blizzard, think of some of the characters you could have in there.
Yeah, man, dude. Like Doomslayer. You could have BJ Blazkowicz. You could have the Dragonborn
I
from
mean, you're gonna have the Dragon.
Skyrim.
You're gonna have the Dragonborn. You're gonna have to have a Brotherhood of the Steel Trooper.
Yeah. I mean,
You're gonna have to have Chief and Arbiter.
yeah. I
Who
mean,
Arbiter is in Killer Instinct with General Ram, by the way.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say,
Marcus Phoenix is going to be in it. I would say Kate Diaz is going to be in it.
yeah, man, you could the Forza
Tyrael
card.
from Diablo, Lilith, Inarius.
Oh my gosh, you could. I mean, you
Uh,
could have some over like Reaper from Overwatch in there.
they're gonna have an entire pack of Overwatch
Yeah,
characters.
I mean, Reaper would probably be the one I would point at first.
Reaper, Reaper, Tracer, Diva, May.
Winston,
I would want fucking Winston. The question is, where do you draw the line out on what characters you
StarCraft
put in Killer
characters,
Instinct?
man. Like,
Yeah, we got to see who we get out of StarCraft. Corvo from Dishonored.
mm-hmm. And the who's the girl from Dishonored? The from Dishonored 2.
Emily.
Emily, yeah.
Give me Colt from Deathloop.
Yeah.
There's so many characters you can put in here though, and it's like, but then you have the question of do you try to put in like Banjo and Kazooie or like Minecraft characters after they've been in Smash? My answer is no.
I wouldn't put anything that's like really like I mean, I know Killer Instinct is ridiculous, but I wouldn't put anything like I wouldn't put anything cartoony in there, right? Like
The
Conquer or
only
Banjo or
the only except well, so I was gonna say I would make two exceptions, and that would be for Conquer because I think Conquer's M rated, so I think that's okay. And you can make it like just really funny as like a last DLC thing.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
I would love uh Gaz from Psychonauts.
Hmm.
I really because mainly because I think that Tim Schafer would be all for it. Not Gaz, Raz. Jesus Christ, I'm thinking of fucking Invader Zim. Um,
Jesus.
but if you did Raz, I think that would be really funny. Like that could be really creative too.
Yeah.
And I think Killer Instinct does have the distinction of not being M rated,
Yeah.
which helps.
Yeah.
It's at least this new one is rated T. I think you could do some fun things with that though. Like, and then that's not even like addressing, oh, well, who else could we put in there? There's no way they're not going to put Captain Price in there.
Oh God, no. Soap.
I feel like Price, Ghost, and Soap are probably the three
Yeah.
that you get.
What about what's his name?
Oh, like Gary Oldman's character from World at War.
Yeah. What about what's the character's name from Prey?
I have no idea.
Men.
I never finished Prey.
Man, yeah. I mean, you could. I mean, even think of like.
Would you have the lead character from Hi-Fi Rush in a fighting game like
gosh,
this?
that'd be hilarious. I was
That'd be great.
I was just thinking. What about the main character from Ghostwire?
Maybe I think that Microsoft should draw a line and be like, okay, we shouldn't just put them in here because they're characters that we can use.
Yeah.
They should have some sort of like significance because you and I've talked about it on past shows that we've done. This really does have the potential to be something unique from Super Smash Brothers and yet also be Xbox's kind of like version of that.
Yeah.
like they have all these guest fighters in addition to and like you can still make original characters for a new Killer Instinct, which you should.
Yeah.
Like there's so many cool things you can do here, and I'd love to see it. I'd like to see maybe some obscure rare characters from the past, show up.
Yeah.
There's so many things you could do here, and I'm just kind of like low key fascinated for some of the things you could do here.
Yeah. What about, man? I'm
Could you do a cyber demon from Doom?
Yeah, why not? That'd be awesome.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
No, I will say this: no third-party collaborations.
No.
You have so many beloved franchises in house that you could do for a theoretical Killer Instinct DLC pack.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need third party, right?
No.
I mean, dude, what if one of the stages was on a plane from Flight Sim?
I mean, there are so many funny things you could do. You could do that. You could have like Forza cars racing like in the back, make it similar to some of the F-Zero maps where you can be hit by them.
Yeah.
But even if say like characters aren't there from these franchises, you could still do worlds like set within like Psychonauts with like some of the cell shading, or set in like the Minecraft world.
Yeah.
I think like you could still do stages set in those, which would be so interesting, or like have items from them.
Mm-hmm.
So not that Killer Instinct really has items, but you could have like a party mode where you do something like that. There's so many interesting things you could do here.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see it. Like, I would love if they did, like, if they had a map that was set on Blood Gulch.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. And like,
just have it on top of one of the bases, and
Yeah.
like, there's a whole like big team battle going on in the background.
That'd be amazing.
You see like banshees flying in and out.
Oh god, yeah. And you can get hit by them.
That would be funny. That would be really funny if you could combo somebody into it. But yeah, there's so many things you could do, and Iron Galaxy isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Rumbleverse got taken offline like 6 weeks after it came out.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's see what Iron Galaxy is doing. I really don't think they are doing anything.
They do support work.
Shut up, Siri. I didn't
They
say
do
Siri.
support. They do support work. They recently worked on Metroid Prime Remastered and The Last of Us Part 1 for Windows.
Yeah. Neat.
They do a lot of like ports, essentially.
Yeah.
Just like looking at what they've done over the last 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. That's about all that they've done.
Yeah.
Like since Killer Instinct, it's just been that.
Yeah.
With the exception of Rumbleverse.
Yeah. Yeah, man, Killer Instinct. I'm excited to see what they do with this 10th anniversary. I mean, what is it? They're doing an Xbox Series X and S update, right? And like 120 frames a second on Series X, right? That's kind of like the update, 4K 120 ish.
Yeah, just all the generic stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Joanna Dark.
Oh my god! Yeah, how do we forget Joanna Dark?
Yeah. Man, I'm looking at Rare Replay to see which characters are in here.
There's so many things you can do here. Like the bottom line is there's so many characters that you have like enough for like 4 or 5 DLC packs easily.
Oh yeah,
you have like years of support here.
Yeah, man, it's all right there. It's all right there.
And I can't imagine that you would add characters to this Killer Instinct when it's 10 years old.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't add any more characters. I think this is prepping for.
This is like a gauging interest update, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm excited. I want to see it. I haven't played Killer Instinct since it came out for Xbox One.
I really enjoyed it. I just wasn't good at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not good at any fighting games, so I'm not good at any games really, Josh. Let's be fair.
You know what? I'm glad that you could admit it.
Yep. Yep. All right, Josh. Let's talk about what's coming to Game Pass real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Let's do it.
Everspace 2 is coming to Game Pass. Everspace 2 is a fast-paced single-player spaceship shooter with exploration in space and on planets, tons of loot, RPG elements, mining, and crafting. Experience an exciting sci-fi story set in a vivid, handcrafted open world full of secrets, puzzles, and perils. Man, I need to zoom in on this Steam page. It's oh man, and that's coming out on 8/15. on 8/16 or 8/18, Josh. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's from the team over at Gun. That's the team that did Friday the 13th, I believe.
Yeah, and the Predator game, right?
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of know what the first reviews came out today, and it got like I think I got a 6 out of 10 from IGN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said it's bare bones, but the bones are good. Was what I read.
Yeah, we'll see. This kind of feels like the perfect thing to throw into Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, this game looks gross. Take on the role of one of the notorious Slaughter family or their victims in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a third-person asymmetrical horror experience based on the groundbreaking and iconic 1974 horror film. Experience the mad and the macabre for yourself in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah.
I know a few people who are very much looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. And then Josh, the next time we get together, 8/29, Sea of Stars will be hitting Game Pass.
Sea of Stars!
Sea of Stars is a turn-based RPG inspired by the classics. It tells the story of two children of the solstice who will combine the powers of the sun and the moon to perform eclipse magic, the only force capable of fending off the monstrous creations of the evil alchemist known as the Fleshmancer. That's a gross name.
The Fleshmancer.
Yep. If you haven't played Sabotage's previous game, The Messenger, I highly recommend it. Also, The Messenger is set in the same universe as Sea of Stars, even though it's an entirely different game. But pretty excited for this one, Josh.
Yeah, Sea of Stars is gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we'll be going into a week where we see Sea of Stars and Starfield in the same week.
Mm-hmm. Lots of stars that week.
Lots of stars.
Well, Josh, we did it.
I, in fact, think that we have.
Yeah. You got anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I think we've got on more than long enough.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of news, though, man.
A lot of news, including one major story that we forgot.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, Josh, thank you for your time as always.
Of course.
I want to thank everybody else out there for listening and or watching. Thank you for the warm reception of Xbox Casuals. A lot of you from Tower Casuals kind of made the jump, and for those of you who are just listening for Xbox stuff, thank you as well. You can rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. You can rate us on Spotify. We are everywhere. Josh, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter or X as at Josh_Finn, 2 N's. I'm probably complaining about my beloved Dallas Mavericks or Seahawks as football season gears up.
Yep.
Corey, the Rangers are in first place still.
Oh boy.
At the end of August, we are here in the middle of August. The Rangers are still in first place. I cannot remember the last time I was able to say that.
Yeah, well, first time.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. They're like 10-2 this month.
Yeah. Well, you can find me at I'm Corey HD on social media. I'm trying really hard to stay off of social media, actually, unless I need to check for some DMs, which interesting things happening, Josh. Most of it after Gamescom and Starfield's release, but I think Xbox fans will be quite pleased with some of the people that we are lining up. So I want to thank you all for watching and or listening. You can join the Tower Casuals Discord. Follow us on Twitter at Tower Casuals, all that stuff. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.